Today we're going to be talking about Big Ben. Problem with Big Ben. Oh, there's plenty to say about this guy. He is a real piece of trash. I can tell you that by watching a lot of the things I've heard, a lot of the things I've seen. He's not very good. First of all, let's go along with he's an idiot. He almost killed himself by ending up on the hood of a person's car on his motorcycle. I believe he was in a coma for a few days. Kind of came out of it. You think maybe he'd be just a little bit of thankful or show a little bit more thanks that he made it through an accident like he did. But it seemed like it sent him on the spiral to hell. I've listened and seen quite a bit of the things that's happened, things that have been said about him in the last few weeks, especially the last few months. I've seen that Antonio Brown got traded to the Raiders. Maybe it's what he needed, because obviously Big Ben wasn't going to be able to do anything he needed for him. Because let's just say it, Big Ben Roethlisberger has got a problem, and the problem is him. The ownership of the team pretty much babies this guy. Pretty much gives him any and everything he wants. He's won 2 Super Bowls, but hell, that was what, 10 years plus ago. So the problem with that is maybe I think at some point you got to say maybe he's not worth it. Maybe he's not the same guy he was 10, 15 years ago. All right, so we're gonna look at that. One of the first things I'm gonna go with. Problem with him is he likes to throw a lot of the players under the bus. He's got the same problem that Aaron Rodgers has, and if something doesn't go his way, he has a problem. And his problem is telling everybody what he thinks they should have done, not inside the locker room, but on a radio show, interviews, telling them the playoff game or the game last year where he threw the interception and the end zone. The problem is, he said, he should have ran that route flat instead of trying to drift it back towards back of the end zone. Well, if that's the case, why did he throw it that way? I think what happened, he threw the interception, got mad. Should have ran the damn ball. He's on the 2-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. Why throw the ball? I mean, you're Big Ben Roethlisberger. You could have done a QB sneak. You could have done a lot of things other than trying to throw the ball in the end zone. See how that worked out for the Seattle Seahawks a few years ago. Lost them the Super Bowl. So you got to think about these things. Problem is, he doesn't think about what happened, what he could have done. He thinks about what everybody else should have done. And that's the problem between the quarterbacks and like him. Quarterbacks like Big Ben and Aaron Rodgers, they have problems. Their problems are they're always wrong. They're always right, and everybody else is always wrong. Probably the reason why there have been no playoff games, Super Bowls in so many years. What the deal is, I heard today that in the playoff game a few years ago, he fought, week 17, against the Bengals, instead of what he wanted to do was spike the ball, but kneel down. But Todd Haley wanted him to run the ball, get a little bit more time off the clock. Then once you've done that, then you can do the kneel down. Well, what's he do? He changes it in a huddle. He goes to a run, but the problem is he goes instead of handing it off to the running back like he's supposed to. He pretty much he turns around, almost throws it straight into the fullback's hands. As you can see, the fullback had no idea the ball was coming to him. All he's supposed to do is open a hole. So that then he's like falling backwards. Which, if you look at him by himself, there's no reason why he would be even close to even falling. It's one of the worst falls I've ever seen in my life. So I've seen a lot of NBA games. This is pretty good. This is up there with the NBA flops. I liked it. That's stupid. It's Big Ben Roethlisberger. That's who he is what he does. So not only that, as you see some of these other guys come out, Mike Wallace, Hines Ward, they're coming out talking about how bad he is as a leader. how horrible he is as a person almost. The problem I see with that is nobody's come to his defense to say they're wrong. Maybe there's something there. Well, a lot of times where there's smoke, there's got to be fire. And with this guy, there's a bunch of fires. I mean, you look at what a lot of these guys are saying, talking about how that he doesn't lead by example. He just says, do as I tell you to do, and that's pretty much how this works. As I can't remember who it was that said he's got an owner's mentality. And you can't be the quarterback in an owner mentality. That just tells them you're thinking of yourself more than you should. You're not thinking of yourself as a team player. You think of yourself as a guy that plays with a team. T.O. had a problem with that. It cost him a lot of years of getting into the Hall of Fame, which he deserved to be in anyway, but his attitude cost him that quite a bit for a while. Then you got the worst part about this, and what really I think angers the hell out of me about between this and the NFL with other problems is the sexual abuse case he's had 2 against him. I don't know what happened to him. I think one he might have settled out of court. The other one I don't know what happened to it. I can't exactly remember exactly what the deal was. But the problem is he was one of the first ones in the modern era to be accused of sexual assault on 2 females. What happens to him when he does this? He gets suspended for 4 games. Somebody with a drug habit gets suspended for 6 days. 6 games. 8 weeks. Doesn't sound right. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for NFL. Then again, NFL has a credibility problem, has a credibility issue, and they have had the credibility issues for quite a few years, going back all the way to when Roger Goodell. Then you had Paul Tagliabue before that. He had problems keeping they paid a lot of money to keep a lot of things under wraps, especially the Spygate for the Patriots against the Rams and the Carolina Panthers. I mean, how bad would it had been for them to not say a word to anybody but burn the tapes? That's got to be pretty damn. That's got to be pretty damning. It's got to be pretty bad. So, like I said, going back to the AB and deal with there. Yeah, handled it wrong way, obviously. Probably could have done a whole lot better job with it. But the thing about it is, if you want out of a place bad enough, you're going to make the biggest ruckus, biggest problem. You're going to cause all kind of problems you can to get out. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen on the job before. I mean, just cause an absolute crazy mess of problems. And finally got himself kicked out. But the problem is, the problem with AB is he maybe went around it the wrong way, but he got himself out of there. He got what he wanted out of Pittsburgh, and you gotta like it when the guy gets what he wants, especially today. NFL players very rarely get what they want, get what they're looking for, stability. Because the teams, they'll do what they want. I mean, they'll sign out some of these players 4 or 5 years, but knowing they're probably going to keep them for about 2 or 3 years, maybe, if that's the max that you'll ever find. But after a while, you just got to wonder. I mean, what's the NFL thinking? I've got a huge problem with the NFL, even though I do watch it. I have a huge problem with it, with how they conduct themselves, how they conduct themselves with the players. How they conduct themselves with the fans, people that pay all this money to see these guys, and we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I hope AB just like kills it with Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. I don't think he's great, but I think he's pretty good. He really doesn't really have a whole lot. I mean, Amari Cooper, he was good his first few years, but once Gruden took over, not much. You didn't really see much out of him. So, well. That says it for me. The winner of this one, obviously, is Antonio Brown. Him and Le'Veon Bell, they got the hell out of there. That's what they were looking for. They knew that organization was going in a crapper. So, kudos to those guys. Those guys have done a great job getting themselves up. And I tell you what, I hope they do well. and I hope that the Pittsburgh Steelers go straight to heck. That's just my opinion. I mean, hell, you guys may have your own opinion. I'm sure there's Steeler stars out there, Steeler fans out there that are just really ticked off about it. But what can you do? Oh, well. Well, like what you see. Give me a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.